how's it going, YouTube? Homer Rex and Jeremy here for another movie review. We finally got out and seen that Mockingjay Part 2.
Yes.
A little behind on the draw, but, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Thanksgiving and everything, it's hectic time right now.
Hectic time. But we got out and seen it, you know, and we're going to give you our thoughts.
Yeah, so we're ending the Hunger Games franchise with this. I would say definitely a franchise that looked to just be climbing until these last two movies. This movie I felt was better than the first part of it.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem I felt with it was, man, it just got boring at times.
It did get a touch boring. They take you into directions that you see potential in, but then they just kind of slide off, in my opinion.
It's exactly what happens. It's I don't know, like the ending is another issue with it where it goes on too long. There's a lot of action scenes, but in between really nothing kind of happens. There's certain things in it that doesn't actually make sense the more I think about it. But
well, just give us a quick synopsis of it.
Yeah, let's get the synopsis. So where we last left off, we're about to go against the Capitol. You know, they're about to make their final push. And really, this entire game, to my surprise, was in the Capitol. Almost the entire movie was, with the exception of about 20 minutes or so in the beginning. The president has seemed to take the game makers and make the game inside the city itself.
Yeah, they start putting up little pods or whatever, almost like landmines throughout the city to slow the rebels down and whatnot.
All would have been really interesting, too. I mean, that was kind of a very underused function. You only saw him in action like a couple times, and most of the times, even when you see him, it's like, hey, let's throw a stick out there, and so we'll set it off so we don't got to worry about it later.
Yeah, that seemed a little cheesy, almost. Just throwing a stick out there or, you know, shooting an arrow and it triggers it.
Yeah, I want to see him go against the odds.
I thought it would be more like the games, like, you know.
Exactly.
They'd be hitting them left and right, you know, and you just get more action and more craziness out of it.
You're right. I mean, that's what it should have been, you know. It should have been basically another Hunger Games inside the city.
But in reality, you get like 2 or 3 pods, you know, and they kind of just push that off to the side.
I think this movie, more than any of the other ones, when you think about some of the ones they've done in the past, hurt the most from getting broken up into 2 separate movies.
Yeah, I agree.
It felt like if it was one, it would have been better. And a lot of these movies now are kind of being very kind of, you know, obvious on how they're going to break out. The first part of your movie is all set up. The second part of your movie is all action. When done right, it can be done very well. Harry Potter did it very well. This movie did it, and because of that, and the reason is there wasn't a lot of action in this movie.
Well, yeah, and it seems like they could fit them into one movie, but I don't know if the filmmakers are trying to make
money.
Yeah, more money off the 2 movies. I'm sure that's always the case, but you know, why draw something out, you know, and when they could just make a better film.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. This would have probably been as good as, you know, the first, and somewhere between the first and the second one, if they just made it one movie all through. You clearly only had enough storyline to make one movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it almost seemed like nothing happened in this one.
That's exactly right. I mean, the other big thing, of course, too, is, and this goes with your, you know, doesn't seem like anything happened, is you constantly feel like you're building towards something, and nothing happens at the end of it like that. There's no final confrontation really, or last battle. That doesn't occur in this movie.
Super predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you haven't read the book, you know, you pretty much
you can see the
first
half. You can see just the first half, the first part of this movie, and kind of figure out where they're going with the second part of it.
Well, you know, it sounds like we're ripping on it. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we are being a little unfair.
We're being a little harsh on it. Yeah. But I guess let's just go to the pros and cons. What's your pros?
I think we hit enough cons.
Let's
just throw some pros out there. The acting was, you know, about as solid as it's always kind of been in these movies, so there's really nothing to complain about on that front. The effects were tremendous. There's a scene where they're going through the little sewer, the little zombie like things. They look really cool.
Yeah, the effects are awesome.
They weren't little, but I just call them little.
Well, yeah, no, they were zombie size.
Yeah, and
humanoids.
I don't feel bad saying it because it's actually in the trailer. The whole like tar or oil or whatever it is, that whole scene was really cool, really tense, and really exciting. So, that was a very fun part of the movie, that particular section of it.
Visually, the whole movie was on point. I mean, they did a lot of seemingly hard stuff to do and made it seem pretty realistic.
I will say, despite the fact it goes on too long, there's no issue with the ending itself. I mean, it's an okay ending. It's a fine conclusion to the story.
I enjoyed the ending.
Yeah. I do think it does, though, go into a little bit of like Return of the King where, it's just, okay, this should be the end. Let's add a couple more scenes.
Yeah.
That should be the end. Let's add a couple more scenes.
Kept stacking.
Yeah. And, you get a little tiresome, but the ending of the story, it's a fulfilling ending. You do like what happens. It's just, it's really hard, I think, to focus on pros in this movie because there was so much of a build-up on what this series could be because they did have a good first movie. They had an even better second movie.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of fell apart and... you didn't get to see this revolution or anything that we were kind of promised from the beginning, and that's what brought it down.
All in all, I think they handled the whole series well. I mean, they went for the breakup, to try to get more movies out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But, Jennifer Lawrence, she's awesome, as usual.
Yeah, she was good in it. Nobody's going to complain about her in it.
And all the other actors did a wonderful job, too, but I think they handled it pretty well. Hunger Games kind of came out of nowhere. For me, I wasn't much...
I didn't know what it was till I
didn't know what it was. I didn't expect to enjoy it.
I thought it was going to be Twilight with this weird thing, but it really isn't.
Came off a Twilight spin years ago.
Yeah, but it's better than Twilight.
I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah.
So that's always a plus. That's a win in my book.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's a series that's worth watching because it's worth investing that time into. But I mean, if you want me to be dead honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to watch the series again in my life.
Well, that's something that you probably will watch, but it's later on. You might catch it on TV. One of years down the road on TNT or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's nitty gritty. Give me a number.
You know what? I'm going to give it a 6 because as much as it felt like we were breaking it down, there is enough to enjoy in this movie that you're going to like it if you go see it, I feel.
I'm going to go one up on him. I'm going to give it a 7 just because I enjoyed it. It was a feel-good story. I mean, you ended up feeling good at the end.
Yeah.
So, there's not too many of those going around anymore.
That's true.
So, this is Homer Rex and Jeremy. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.